strap yourself in for Keeping It Real with Jac and Ral.
And it's a happy Monday yet again because we're keeping it real with Jac and Ral. Hey, Ral.
How are you?
Really well, thank you. Very,
Excellent.
very well. How are you?
I'm brilliant. Brilliant.
Fact or opinion?
Oh, both.
I tell you what you are. Confident.
I am confident. I'm confident.
And today's episode is about
confidence.
Giddy up. What a coincidence.
So confidence, Jac, let's talk about it. You born with it?
No. I don't think anyone's born with confidence. I think you've got to work at it. I think you've got to build it. You've got to create it.
I don't know. Baby, I was going to say little babies seem confident. It's like,
No, that's
like,
true.
They
actually
give
true.
everything you go. Learning to walk, that's confident.
That's very confident or dumb. Getting up and having a go.
They
But
got
actually, that's a
stepped
good point.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do you think we're born with confidence?
I think that it's a bit of both. And I remember reading a book called The Confidence Code by Katie Kay and Claire Shipman.
The Confidence Code.
The Confidence Code. We'll put the links to that in the show notes. There's another really good book by our friend Michelle Sales. She's written a book on real confidence.
I think we're both quoted in that book.
I think we are. Well,
Great book, Michelle.
Well, we better plug it.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the Confidence Code, and Michelle talks about this as well, it's there's three things that can influence our confidence, and one of them is genetics.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It could be there's a part of you you're either born with more confidence or less confidence. Now, you can't do anything about that. Like you could be born
you can't change
tall.
genetics.
You can't change genetics, but it doesn't
Clearly.
define it. It might just mean you have to work a little bit harder at it.
Wow.
So genetics is one thing. The environment you're in, so the environment you've grown up in and with.
I get
and
that.
then the other thing is choice. So let's not talk about genetics because I think
We can't
you
control
can't change it,
or
and
do
you
anything about that.
just know that you just might have to work a bit harder at it. But I think environments are really important. The way you were grown up.
Critical.
So I would say you're very confident as well. You would have been raised
in a confident environment. You
Yeah.
know, when I reflect on that, my parents were very, very young when I was born, like as in 17 and 19. So we're talking very young, mum 17, dad 19. And they didn't come from highly confident families. They came from families that loved them. But they created an environment where my brother and I, were taught to back ourselves and believe in ourselves. So that environment has absolutely set me up well. And I think I've already told you the story of being in radio and calling Dad saying I've just been asked to run the 16-stage production desk and I can't do it. And him saying to me, how do you know you can't do it? Have you done it before?
Yeah.
And just giving you that little, I should give it a go.
And I reckon that's a great example of like, so, in another situation, they could have said, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't do it.
probably can't do it.
Or maybe do research.
You're
but
not
he's
qualified.
But you're doing it. I remember, and this just is a great example that I guess typifies how I was raised, is I went for a job and I would have been 18. I went for a job. I got a job interview.
Class clown?
Sorry?
Office clown?
It was the office clown
There
job.
you are,
It was the office clown job. I got an interview and then I went home and on the weekend I saw the job advertised in the paper again. So it was, back in the day when jobs were only advertised
classifieds.
on the weekend newspaper. God, we're old. And I remember saying to Mum, I clearly didn't get the job because they've advertised it again. And she went, but clearly no one else has got the job either. So why don't you apply for it again?
Your mother's a genius.
And she goes, take what you learnt from the interview and just write a stronger letter. And my first reaction was like, oh my God, that is so embarrassing. But I did.
What would mothers know?
Yeah, what would mothers know?
Everything.
And so I did, and I got a second interview, and they knew it. They knew it was me, right? And they said, why did you apply for this job again? And I went, because I really want it, and I know I can do it. So I was offered the job. Either before I left or the next day I was offered the job. So I went in and did that job and became the office clown. But yeah, it was it's getting you right. We were both raised in an environment that people said you could do it. And by the way, Mum just turned 90, so happy birthday.
Wow, that's a great age. There's confidence. I bet she's got a few tips on confidence. So the environment is really important. However, if you are listening to this and you think, oh my goodness, I was raised in an environment where I wasn't supported or confidence wasn't a thing, it's never, ever too late to start.
No.
You can build confidence, right? So we spoke about genetics being a thing, your environment being a thing. What's the third thing?
Well, the third thing is around choice, but also, Jack, the genetics is you got no choice.
No control.
You know, absolutely no choice. Environment, you've got some choice, right? So, I mean, first of all, the way you were raised, you can't change that. But the environment you're in now,
Or creating for others.
you can change. It just reminded me of a pretty cool story that I heard Lee Sales talk about. So Lee Sales, you know, amazing woman, did the 7:30 report for like a decade.
Just written a great book I'm reading, Storytellers.
Yes, same.
Fabulous
So anyone would look at her and say she is so confident. Like so unbelievably confident. And she spoke at one of the programs that Michelle and I were running, which we just spoke about. And she said that when she knows what people give her confidence and energy and what drain her. And she said her mother, like she had the interview for Hillary Clinton when she was, this was years ago, asked to interview Hillary Clinton. And she goes, I know when I speak to my mum, she will go things, oh, that's a big interview. Are you nervous? Are you blah? And so she goes, I know I avoid.
Yes.
She goes, I just avoid speaking to people like that. She chooses a makeup artist that builds her up and stuff. And but you know, she said she was physically sick before interviewing Hillary Clinton.
Someone like Lee Sales, who's been around for a long time,
Exactly.
who has interviewed for a long time. So the point is, you can still be confident, but feel sick.
And what I like about that story
question your
is
confidence.
perhaps genetics working against her because if her mum's a little bit negative,
Sure.
but she changed the environment.
Yeah.
So she took control of the environment going, this is a really big thing. I know I'm probably going to get nervous. I don't want to be speaking to other people that are going to make me more nervous.
Yeah.
So very smart. You can change your environment. And then the other thing is the choice.
Yeah,
the
the
third,
choices you make.
choices you make all the time.
Yeah.
And I really think confidence is like a muscle.
Yeah, it is.
And you've got to work on it and you've got to
is.
work on it all the time.
It's an inside job.
Yes, it is an inside job.
And only you can generally make the change. However, back to the 3 points, genetics, environment, choice, if you put yourself in the right environment, if you choose who you're around, who help build you up, then that can be make a big difference. Dad used to walk around saying, never forget who you are. And we used to go, yeah. I mean, we were nothing. We were nobody. But,
I was gonna say,
but
what?
again, he made us feel like we were something.
Yeah.
You know, or we should be something special. So you carry that.
Yeah.
And you exude that. And have you guess what?
What?
Can you remember Rosabeth Moss Cantor? I just thought of her then.
Yes.
She was awesome. Harvard lecturer.
Yeah, Harvard.
When we were there. One of the oldest lecturers. I think she's in her
I know.
80s, still writing books, still lecturing. She was fabulous. She wrote a book on confidence. And she said, confidence breeds confidence.
Yes.
Okay, so the winning teams are confident. And when you're confident, you win. And when you win, people want to be part of your winning, part of your success, be around you. So they get given more opportunities, more sponsorships, more access, and that breeds more confidence. So there's a whole thing around your environment and confidence, exuding confidence.
Yeah.
I have people-
contagious. Like
It is
yeah,
contagious. People coming to me when I coach them and they say, I lack confidence. Can you help me with my confidence? And then I listen to them speak. And I think, you are not giving me any sense, obviously that's why they're there, that you have any confidence and that I would have confidence in you doing something. We need to change that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never going to get where you want to get to.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, and this might be a genetic thing, but all the research shows that females lack more confidence than males. And you would see this, you would see this a lot in your coaching.
I see this so much.
And you know
so
what? And
much.
it's probably no surprise that a lot of women seek out coaching when a lot of men don't.
Yeah, that's a good point. So they say men overestimate ability and performance. Women underestimate both. But in actual fact, they're both equal when it comes to outcome.
Yeah. So they are women, and I think if you're listening to this and you're a female, no, it's naturally we underestimate our ability and performance. If you're a male leader, know that, and be very mindful. Be
very aware of it.
You've got people in your team, the men going, yeah, I can do that, and
you're
the
a female
females
leader.
Going,
be aware of it.
Yeah, well, true.
Any leader, be aware of it. It's a good point. So one of the pieces of work I do with most of my clients that I'm coaching is we go out and get feedback, because self-awareness is all about confidence, actually, and self-awareness brings you choice. You can choose to know the impact that you have on others and do something about that, good or bad. And so we always go out and get feedback, areas of development and their strengths. And I have done this research now for 3 years, desktop research, through the clients that I coach, and I coach 60% women, 40% men, all generally senior level or mid to senior level. And we come back and we're going to now talk about the feedback, because they've collated it themselves in most cases. Sometimes I collate it for them and I send it to them if I do it for them on their behalf. But if they're doing it, which is most people, I say collate it into a Word doc, put all your strengths in one area, your areas of development in another, write out verbatim what people have said, and they send it to me ahead of time. We then go into the coaching session. Women, every single time, go straight into all the things they've done wrong, all the things that they need to work on, all their areas of development. Have you guessed what the men do, Ral?
The opposite.
Hey, Jac, I'm really excited about talking to you about the strengths. I can't believe they all noticed how good I am at strategy.
Yeah.
And I go back to the women. This is actually playing to your strengths. I'm actually more interested in your strengths. I do strengths coaching.
Yeah.
Your areas of development. Are there any surprises in there? Anything in there you didn't know? No, I already knew that. Right, can we move on? Either do something about it if it really worries you, or let's focus on your strengths, play to those. So there is something about men and women and their overestimation or underestimation of their competence, abilities, and more importantly, confidence.
Yeah. I had a mentor of mine told me a story about him and his wife went skiing, and they're both really good skiers.
Yeah.
And so they were going
So snow skiing.
Yes,
Yeah,
snow skiing.
snow skiing, yeah.
And so they were going to this place, and it was like it was like fair income
Aspen
black
or
diamond
Whistler or
runs.
something.
And so they met the night before, and they met the instructor and had to rate themselves out of 10 what they thought their skiing ability would be. And Pete rated himself 9 out of 10, I think it was. And then he got back to, and he said to his wife, Trish, what did you rate yourself out of? And she went 7. And he went, but why? He goes, you're a much better skier than me. And she went, well, what did you rate yourself at? And he went 9. And she goes, you're not a 9. And he's going, but you're not a 7. Yeah. You're better than me. And he started to panic because he thought maybe, they will put Pete on the harder stuff and Trish. And so he went to the instructor the next morning. First thing he said, I just need to say, I rated myself 9. Trish rated ours 7, but she's a better skier than me. And the instructors just looked at him and said, yeah, we know. We automatically take 2 off the men and add 2 to the women.
That is amazing.
Because in their experience, they know that the men always have overestimated their competence, and the women always underestimate.
Righto. So if you're listening to this and you're a female, let's start getting the accurate estimate.
Yes.
Stop underestimating. If you're a male, how about getting the accurate estimate? Maybe stop overestimating. Okay, that is a great story, a really great story, and hopefully, will be remembered by those listening, because I think you're onto something here.
So what have you done? What do you do? Like, people would look at us, and you look at a lot of people, they go, oh, they seem confident. You haven't always been.
No.
Like you do, I think one of the things that you do as you get older, certainly not everyone, but you can build your confidence.
Oh,
and we
totally.
do say, again, like it's a muscle, and you got to keep building it. And like a muscle, you don't go, oh, I've got a really good bicep now. I don't have to do weights again, because you will lose the muscle.
You will lose it.
So you got to keep building on it. So what have you done?
So to that point, I keep putting myself out there. So I started putting myself out there pretty young. So, at 18, I wanted to be a radio announcer. There were no female radio announcers in the place I was from.
Yep.
But I really wanted to do that, and I thought I could be good at it, and I was really interested in it. So I was encouraged to do it. And so I put myself out there. And when you think about it, that's a very public platform. It's a broadcast platform.
public.
So I had to reconcile with myself that A, I wouldn't be very good because I was starting out. B, people would be listening who didn't like me. So we've all got people who don't like us. Yeah, people who think we're shit or, who bag us or maybe not even behind our backs. So I had to overcome that and say, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So I have kept putting myself out there, and that goes without doubt every year of my life. I'm doing that now still.
Yeah.
But you're right. Confidence breeds confidence. Back to Rosabeth Moss-Cantor. If you are just demonstrating confidence and building confidence, you will get more confident.
Yeah, you'll get confident. Don't wait for it. Don't wait for it. There's a
Keep
great
doing
quote by the late Kari Fisher.
Oh, I like that.
And she said that stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action, that you don't have to wait to be confident. Just do it, and eventually confidence will follow. And
imagine if we all waited to become confident.
Yeah, and
nothing would happen in the world.
It's like, just do it.
You wouldn't have innovation.
And your confidence will catch up. And we've talked about this, like the first time you do things, it's going to be worse. And so you just got to
do it.
Just got to do it.
Nike's made a lot of money out of just do it.
Nike could be our sponsor.
Nike should be our sponsor. Well, I was going to say there's another brand I'm wearing when I run, but that's okay. Hey, what have you done to make yourself confident?
So it's a similar thing. It's putting yourself out there. So keep doing, and I think it's just, gradually doing stuff. I would write something on LinkedIn every day. Now I put it out there and I just go press and,
sometimes it'll work.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, whatever. I remember, and I was never like that, right? So the first few times, I still remember I use MailChimp for my database. Now, if anyone doesn't know MailChimp, their logo is a little chimp, right? Little monkey.
Who knew?
So it's like,
with a name like MailChimp.
MailChimp, right?
Mail, M-A-L-E, M-A-I-L.
M-A-I-L, like you're sending out mail.
It's an email.
The little chimp is sending out your email.
Cute. Not a polar bear.
Not a polar bear. Gonna have to
It's
listen.
cold.
Gonna have to listen to the last episode to get that inside joke. But I remember you write a post, right? So you've written an article and you go to put it out. And this is the first time you've done it. And of course, so you've spent hours editing and re-editing and rewriting and spend another ridiculous hours trying to find the right photo. And all this is putting off sending it.
The action.
Because it's scary. And so I'm on MailChimp and I press publish. Do you know what happens on MailChimp when you press publish? The little logo of the chimp pops up. It's an animated one, so sweat is coming off its head, going, "Are you sure?"
Oh, for goodness sake.
I was like, so you go, "No, I am not sure," and then I have to start the whole process again. And so that lasted like, I don't know, I reckon a year or so. I gradually got better, but it was terrifying every time I put something out there. And I remember when my executive manager, Elise, started with me, it was like I would still write the blogs, but she would publish them.
Yeah.
And I remember I was showing her how to do it. And I go, so then you press publish. And so she pressed publish and the thing came up saying, "Are you okay?" And she just pressed it and I went, and she goes, "What have I done?" And I went, "Nothing. You just did that really quickly."
Yeah,
and she went, "What was I not meant to do that?" And I went, "Yes, you were." And it was like,
she did,
but she did it quickly. No, but she did it quickly because it wasn't her. It wasn't, so
she wasn't questioning herself or her
so
work.
when you put yourself out there, you're questioning yourself or your worth, or will I be judged? If someone is doing that, the admin for that, that's not that fear in their head.
Well, the barrier's removed because it's not
removed.
them.
So, but the point is now, like now, 10, 15 years on, I'm just putting it out there. And if people don't like it,
chimp,
and I've got a lot more confidence.
Okay, so what you're talking about now, and this is the entire point, is we either have confidence or lack confidence when it's totally relational to what people think. So what will people think of me if I do this?
Yeah.
And if we're at the point of don't give a fuck what they think actually, then chances are we give it a go.
Yeah.
If we are worried about what people think, and here's the spoiler alert, people are too busy worrying about themselves and what others think of them to worry about what they think of you, then that's going to actually prevent you. So how do we help people get over this fear of what people think?
Well, I think it comes to you just got to think less and do more.
I love
There's
that.
got to be
Stop
advice.
thinking.
Stop thinking. Stop overthinking. I mean, please think about it, but
gotta
don't
think,
overthink about it. And if you do it,
Yeah.
you will become more confident.
Well, that's
My daughter Jess just went overseas 3 months, sort of with friends, but by herself.
only young.
Yes, she was 20 when she did this, right?
yeah,
But
good
and
on
she
her.
was like going, "Oh, mum, I like it," and
Brilliant thing to do.
lacked confidence around traveling, even though
Most
she's
people do.
travelled a little bit.
Yeah,
with
but
us.
with you,
Yeah. And has came back and has just said,
different
I
person.
feel so much more confident.
There you are.
And so now she's travelling by herself. It's not an issue, but you got to do it. If you are waiting to be confident at something before you do it, you'll be waiting forever.
Bryce Courtney, late author, well-known Australian author, said the best thing you can do for your young adult children, buy them a one-way ticket for as far away as possible and send them off. Because it actually, when you're on your own, you've got to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
You've got to meet people. I mean, I know I'm wavering off the confidence thing, but it does help build confidence. Jess is testament to that.
Like birds.
Both my
Birds
kids
do that, don't they? They just kick them out of the nest when it's time.
Time to go.
Time to go.
Well, that's a whole other story on parenting, which we
could
are
do
going to
that.
get to in another
we could
episode.
do that. So I think the main, if you're going to take anything out of this episode, I would say treat confidence as a muscle. You have to work on it.
And keep using it.
And you
keep
got
doing
to
it.
keep using it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And so if you haven't done something for a while, you might start to lose your confidence. So you got to keep going.
Surround yourself with people that are going to build you up,
Yes.
not bring you down.
Yeah.
Okay, so go and get a good coach. If you don't feel that you're in an environment at work or at home to build your confidence, come and see me. Come and see Ral. Get a great coach because we will help build your confidence.
And control your environment. Like take more choice around your environment, who you spend time with. Get around people that build your confidence.
That's exactly right.
There's genetics you can't change, environment you can. You can control your environment to some degree, but your choices, the things you do, and
Confidence breeds confidence.
Confidence
So if you
breeds
know
confidence.
confident people, hang around them. Talk to
Yeah.
them. See how they talk about themselves.
yeah, absolutely. And so just do it. I think that's it.
So
Just do it.
with all the confidence of two podcasters who've only been going a little while now, who had no idea how to do a podcast, how it would work out, we're doing all right. We're getting some
doing
nice
all right.
reviews.
And you know why?
good
Because we just
ratings.
did it.
We just did it. We haven't overthought it, clearly. Okay, happy Monday to you. This has been Keeping It Real with Jac and Ral.
Bye.
You've been listening to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jac and Ral. If you like what you've heard, don't forget to tell others about it and give a 5-star review. They may seem confident, but they really are sensitive 5-star needy souls. Yeah, right. Keeping It Real, created by Jack Phillips and Gabriel Dolan. Produced by Keehlan Ferrari-Brown. And this really real voiceover, spoken by Richard Phillips.